On this special edition of Lexington Now, an update on the city's response to COVID-19. Welcome to Lexington Now. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to evolve and there are incremental reopenings, the City of Lexington continues to take steps to ensure the safety of not only our citizens, but also our employees, while still maintaining essential services. In this special edition of Lexington Now, we bring you the latest on how the city is responding. During the COVID-19 pandemic, emergency services may seem like the obvious place to turn for comfort and information. But as E911 Director Robert Stack tells us, there are better ways to get information.
Well, we want to save 911 for emergencies, not for questions. So if you have questions that are health related, certainly call your health care provider. The health department has published a number that you can call to speak to them about your symptoms and whether or not you should report for testing. So those kind of calls don't need to come to 911. The time you call 911 is when you need a response to your residence or business, and then we're going to send those responders. Now, well, the responders may choose to treat things a little differently, particularly on the police side. If you're wanting a police report, there is some possibility that an officer may call you on the phone and take it over the phone versus face-to-face taking a report. The officers will decide that on a case-by-case basis. So the public needs to be prepared. They might get a phone call after calling 911 that comes from an unlisted number or that it's blocked, and they should go ahead and try to take that call because it's more than likely either 911 calling back or an officer calling back. When somebody calls in with symptoms, say shortness of breath, breathing difficulties, or they're calling in because they have a virus and think they need to be transported to the hospital, we are letting first responders know that that's the scenario that they're being presented with so that they can take appropriate steps with personal protective equipment on arrival. Before they start assessing the patient, they're going to be able to don the proper attire before making contact with that patient. We are not asking those questions for all other calls. So if somebody calls, for example, and says they need a collision report or some other type of response, we're not asking a battery of questions about COVID-19. This is primarily for those that are flu-related symptoms or shortness of breath-related symptoms. Those are the ones that are getting the additional questions. We understand that people are worried in a situation like this, and there's plenty of numbers you can call if you're worried but well. Numbers like 311, 211, the health department, all have resources to be able to talk to you or refer you to somebody that can answer your questions. And I think most importantly is reserve 911 for the true emergency where you need a response to your residence or business, and just save those calls so that we can be available for true emergencies.
We also spoke with Assistant Chief Jason Wells of the Lexington Fire Department about the steps they have taken to ensure everyone's safety.
At the Lexington Fire Department, we've been monitoring the spread of COVID-19 for some time. Our first official department communication to the members went out on January 23rd, where we were just kind of filling our members in with everything that was happening. And then obviously, early March, the first case was confirmed in Kentucky. On March 16th, we did institute some more significant measures and changes, including canceling all staff meetings, limiting the traveling that happens from station to station with our members. We moved our roll call meetings to a virtual format, canceled all non-essential travel, and we were also asking our members to monitor their temperature and stay home if they're running any kind of fever at all. Also, we're undertaking a very thorough twice daily cleaning of all of our stations and facilities. So that's actually going to be for our members' protection as well as the public's protection. If we can prevent our members from getting and spreading the COVID virus, certainly then the public's at a much greater level of safety. Now, there are some changes the public might notice. One thing is that we have limited access to all of our Lexington Fire Department facilities and fire stations, except for emergency situations. So they are essentially closed to the public for tours and things like that. The other thing that the public might notice is our members are utilizing enhanced personal protective equipment. So they may see members of crews getting off of a truck in a gown, eye protection, a mask, things like that. That's not necessarily something to be alarmed about. It could be anything from flu-like symptoms to really anything, but we are stepping up our level of personal protective equipment to protect the public and to protect our members. So out of an abundance of caution, we're probably going to be dressed a little bit differently than normal. The final thing might be the questions that they are potentially asked when they call 911. We may ask a few more questions, and we certainly ask that if you're having any symptoms of COVID or any flu-like symptoms, really, to make sure that you note that when you call 911. It's possible that the dispatcher may ask you to come outside and meet us outside if possible.
As we adjust to the new normal that the pandemic has brought, the city has laid out its plan for keeping everyone safe, beginning with the guidelines that will be in place as restaurants reopen to in-person dining.
We all know that our restaurants here in Lexington are one of the most exciting culinary scenes in all of the United States, and we're very proud of that. And so we're going to be reopening. Governor Andy Beshear has provided the opening date, which is May the 22nd. He also has said that restaurants can only fill 33% of their tables. So everyone's having to get real creative about opening back up, putting tables outdoors, on adjacent sidewalks, in parking lots, and possibly into streets that we can close. And so social distancing masks will continue to be important. We want everyone to be safe, including those who work in restaurants and those who want to eat there. Even though we still have some of the details to figure out on all this, we wanted to let restaurants know that we are working really hard. We're on your side to help make these preparations because we're all pretty excited about going out to eat again. So here are some of the things that we know. It will be necessary for us, the city, to suspend some code, some permit, and some fee requirements to allow restaurants and retail to expand their business footprint outdoors. We're looking at doing this over a 3-week period with an opportunity to extend that if necessary. Businesses will still need permission from the Fayette County Health Department and the Bureau of Alcohol Beverage Control. So restaurants will need to clearly define their seating boundaries. In addition to allowing for social distancing, there must be enough room, enough space for those with disabilities to pass by. And wearing masks in restaurants will be important when possible. Of course, we know you cannot eat with a mask on. But everything else, when you're coming and going and waiting on dinner to arrive, whatever, you'll need to be masked. So today we're here in Beaumont, home of Jay Render's Southern Table and Bar, and owner Gwen Everly, as I said, has joined us. And her restaurant is very interested in expanding their patio into the parking lot. And so I want to ask Gwen to join us up here and tell us a little bit about how that will work for you. Gwen?
So as we look to reopen on the 22nd, we have already started some work with our patio to spread the tables out and get them 6 feet apart with room for people to walk through. But that leaves about 6 tables or so unused, which, decreases obviously the number of people we can serve. So if we're allowed to move into the parking lot, then we can put to use all of the tables that we have for our patio. And of course, that's going to help, weather permitting, that'll help us, build our revenue back up and get people back into the restaurant while they feel safe at the same time. So it's awesome that the city is looking at doing this, especially to some of our restaurant friends downtown that maybe don't have a big patio. This enables them to also reap the benefits of being able to open the patio on the 22nd, and also ones that are landlocked. I mean, this is just going to make a difference for all the restaurants. So we're super excited. We're doing everything that we need to do to make sure everyone is safe, and we can't wait to welcome everybody back.
Gwen is just one of the amazing restaurant owners in this community who we've been trying to support and who's been a great partner through us for a number of these last few months. And I know that we want to support them as quickly as possible, and this is just another small way, in a very safe way, for us to support the local community and business and small businesses that we have here. And I, for one, love eating on her patio and a number of the patios here in Beaumont and downtown, and I can't wait for us to do that in a safe way. Thank you.
Lexington has a trademark culinary scene that is definitely known for its vibrancy and diversity and innovation. And over the last several years, the culinary offerings in our city have been part of the hallmark hospitality experiences that we've been able to offer both locals and guests alike. And prior to the shutdown, I would think it's fair to say that our restaurants were looking forward to a really robust 2020. It's no secret that the pandemic has hit the hospitality industry first, and it's also hit us really hard, and our restaurants are certainly no exception. I know that I speak for so many when I say how much we have all missed frequenting our favorite establishments in the normal ways during these last 2 months. But our restaurant partners are known for their creativity and their resiliency, and this pandemic has shown us just exactly how strong they are. Many of our restaurants pivoted almost immediately and launched online platforms as well as sophisticated takeout and delivery solutions so that they could keep serving Lexingtonians during this time. As we begin to look at reopening, I am so pleased that our restaurants will be able to welcome diners back into their establishments following the guidelines of Governor Beshear. Allowing the expansion of our outdoor dining options for the next few weeks is an exciting step in the right direction for our partners that are eager to resume their in-person dining service. We know how much our restaurateurs care about their employees and their guests, and these options will allow them to reopen with staff and patron safety at the forefront of their plans. I am really grateful for Mayor Gorton and her leadership throughout this pandemic and for her support of the hospitality industry here in Lexington. And I will just close by saying I cannot wait to eat out again. Thank you.
When we come back, how some non-emergency essential services are responding.
Lexington is temporarily suspending collection of curbside yard waste. This temporary suspension is to help ensure we have the staff to continue weekly collection of trash and recycling. Please set your trash and recycling carts out on your regular collection day. You can help the employees collecting these materials by setting your carts out properly. Carts should be placed 3 feet from each other and other objects such as mailboxes and parked vehicles. Thanks for your help, Lexington, and stay well.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. Kendra Carter of LexCall, the city's call center, updates us on their handling of the COVID-19 crisis.
LexCall is the centralized call center for your local city government services. So if you need to report a pothole, missed garbage collection, or a signal malfunction, you would give us a call. At this time, it really has not impacted our call volume. We attribute that to an excellent job that the governor and the mayor is currently doing with their communicating. And when we do get a call, it's basic general questions asking for the COVID hotline number or reiterating something that they have said. We're following the guidelines of the CDC, and that we would refer them to the Kentucky COVID hotline, which is 800-722-5725. I would say just follow the guidelines that's been provided to you in the recommendation, practice social distancing, wash your hands, and be safe.
Mayor Gorton has been heading up the COVID-19 Economic Recovery Task Force and gave us an update on its progress in a media briefing on May 18th.
Today we are announcing with thanks the work of 132 community leaders. We have completed Lexington's blueprint for economic recovery, and we will send it on to Governor Beshear. I wish we could have everyone who participated with us here today, especially our two co-chairs, Bob Quick from Commerce Lexington and Mary Quinn Raymer from Visit Lex, but we're trying to keep our numbers under 10 as the CDC recommends. Our economy here in Fayette County was strong before this pandemic struck, and today we are taking the first step to recover that strength. Luther and I co-chaired this effort, and I want everyone to understand it has been driven by the private sector, with the goal of reopening our economy gradually and responsibly. This report that we're announcing today has 330 recommendations for reopening our economy. These recommendations were made by representatives from all the major parts of our economy here. The report was compiled over a 2-week period and included 33 committee meetings, all of them conducted online and open to the public. Getting back to work is very important to all of us and very important to our city. In February, prior to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, the Lexington Fayette County jobless rate was 3.1%. Beginning the week of March 8th, unemployment numbers began to increase to levels that have not been seen in almost 100 years. More than 44,000 Lexington residents, over 25% of our civilian workforce, have filed initial first-time unemployment insurance claims since the beginning of March. 44,000 Lexingtonians.
We just got to stay focused, and we will get back. Lexington is a regional where people, where I was born and raised in Breathitt County, come here from all over the state and all over this region, come here to shop and for medical and everything else. And we have to do what's right, and we have to get this economy in Kentucky back where it was and throughout this country, and we will be able to do that with a lot of help. And I think a lot of small businesses are really, really digging in and trying to figure out ways to do this the safest way they can.
Our vocabularies didn't have the phrase flattening the curve, I don't think, before this pandemic. And our citizens have taken this very seriously, and they have worked really hard to flatten the curve and to stay healthy at home. So now, as we move out to stay healthy at work and to eat in our restaurants and do other things as they gradually open up, we will depend on our citizens to help us get through this in a healthy way. So I want to thank everyone, and particularly our committee, which showed so much leadership for the common good. of our community.
We spoke with Gary Means about how Lex Park has adjusted downtown parking to the special circumstances of the pandemic.
Since the COVID-19 crisis kind of kicked in gear, we're about 2 months into that now, where we've been on street. We've been enforcing 2-hour limits to try to maintain some turnover and keep people from wanting to park all day long. And then we implemented the free curbside 15-minute spaces for restaurants and other folks who need like a lot of curbside pickup or delivery options. And currently we're working with about 22 businesses. There's about 24 spaces out there designated like that at meters. We intend on keeping that going. Our big change now is starting on Monday, May the 18th, going through the end of May. Well, starting on May the 18th, the meters will be turned back on and you'll have to pay the appropriate rate at the meter. But we're going to donate all the meter revenue that comes in for the last 2 weeks of May to a combination of God's Pantry, Food Bank, who we've worked with for years with our Food for Fines program that we do sometimes around the holidays, and then the Bluegrass Community Foundation COVID relief funds that they've created. And one of those will also be the one that the city just recently created. Because of the cutbacks in the budgeting, some of the outside agencies that may not get support could get some funds from this as well. So we're really excited to be able to give back to the community in kind of a softer way to ramp back into paying the meters, which usually nobody likes to do, but when you know it's going to a good cause, that may help soften that a little bit. But that's what we're going to be doing throughout the end of May, and then after that it'll just be normal. We intend on keeping the 15-minute free curbside spaces going indefinitely until we feel like we've seen some relief from what all is going on, and we just want to help the restaurants and merchants in downtown, or anyone that's around a metered area that might need that assistance can also reach out to us to request one of those spaces. Revenues that we generate go to funding the program of Lex Park. Lex Park is an outside agency of the city, so we don't receive any taxpayer funding. We don't see any funds come from the budget of the city. So since we're self-funded, it's important to generate revenues to cover really expensive costs, especially in the garages, maintaining the structures, keeping them safe. We have nearly $1 million worth of repairs that we need to do in 2020. So that's ongoing. Garages are always in a state of deterioration, and just maintaining the safety, cleanliness, and enforcement of the on-street levels, we've got to fund ourselves. So yes, starting June 1, then meter revenues would start to funnel back into our funding sources. We've actually talked a little bit about frictionless parking at one of our garages where we took the gates out. That's the transit center garage that's on Vine Street and High Street. There are no gates, and you can use the Pay by Phone app, which is a free download. It's the same app that works at our meters. So both at the meters and in the garages, at least at that garage, you could use that app. Referring to the yellow token that you can get in our other 3 garages, which are the Courthouse Garage, the Helix Garage, and the Victorian Square Garage, in order to kind of maintain a touchless environment there, we would really encourage people to use credit card in, credit card out as an option. So when you pull up to a gate, just insert your credit card. Your time will start then. Spit it back out, the gate comes up, you go do your business. When you leave, you insert that same credit card. It'll charge you the appropriate amount, and the gate goes up and you leave, and you didn't have to touch any of our equipment. It was your own, your credit card. That'd be a great way to feel safer even. We're going to keep cleaning things and trying to maintain as much sanitation as possible. But as we all know, you can clean it, and if somebody touches it, it may be dirty the next minute. So using your own credit card with a credit card in, credit card out option is a great thing that we already had in place.
The Lexington Public Library is also offering many resources to Lexington residents via their website. All these resources cost is a library card. Here's how you can get your library card from the safety of your home.
Okay, let's go ahead and go over how to get a library card. You will need a library card for most library databases, and you can get access to ebooks and e-audiobooks as well if you've got a library card. If you don't have a library card, your other option, if you just want to access ebooks and e-audiobooks, is a mobile phone number with a Fayette County billing address. And I'm going to walk you through both of these types of signups now. So let's go ahead and go to the internet, and I am going to go to www.lexpublib.org. That's lexpublib.org. That's the library's website. And all I need to do to get a library card, I'm just going to click Get a Library Card. Now I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to right-click and open it in a new tab because I want to be able to go back to my home page there without losing this. So if you have an account but just need us to look up your library card and PIN, either or, just send us an email. There's a link here you can click on. Include your date of birth in the message and your full name, and we will contact you with your card number and PIN. If you don't have an account, you can get a digital library card to get into Libby, to get into ebooks and e-audiobooks. And in order to do that, all you're going to do is, and again, I'm just going to open this in a new tab. You're going to click, I went back to the home page here, ebooks and audiobooks. You're just going to click on that and open it up and then click sign in. And it has a link here you can click on that'll walk you through the process of getting a free digital library card using your mobile phone number. So that's that. If neither of those work, if you don't have an account and you can't take advantage of the digital library card, please complete the library card application. And please ignore my dogs. And you'll just complete this library card application, fill out, if it's got a little red dot next to the field, it's required. You're going to fill that out and you're going to click submit at the end. You're also going to send us an email from that digital application. Let me click the back button here. Click on this and email us to let us know we've sent you, submitted an application so that we can look for it and get you set up with your actual card number and PIN. And there's a little more down here about the different requirements to get a library card. You may want to read through that, but that should be everything you need to get a library card to access our library databases while we are closed during the pandemic.
The city has suspended most regular meetings due to the pandemic until further notice, but the council has adjusted to meeting virtually. Lex TV is covering these virtual meetings live. Check our website for the most accurate and up-to-date coverage of city business. You can also check our website for the most up-to-date information on the city's and other organizations' responses on our official COVID-19 response site. Simply click on the banner at the top of our homepage. Lex TV will also be bringing you any breaking news as it happens through the city's official live press updates. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media, check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter @LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.